Welcome back. Just gone 10 after 7. This is Newsnight. The ANC is expected to announce the outcomes of its Lekgotla that was held over the weekend. Some discussions are believed to be around eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede and the Integrity Commission. Let's unpack what has possibly come out of this Lekgotla and how the party is going to be handling some sensitive issues. Political analyst Ongama Mtimka joining us now via Skype. Ongama, hello to you. Always a pleasure speaking to you. Let's first of all talk about the importance of this Lekgotla, especially after what some would say was a fairly bruising general election for the ruling party.
Good evening, Gareth, and your listeners, your viewers. I think this is going to be a meeting where the ANC will want to kind of synthesize its messaging around what the party focuses on going forward. It will attempt, in my view, to mend the relationships that were broken, and also, there were a number of things that the party was confronting coming to this Lekgotla, arising from the contestation over who should be deployed in cabinet, the questions around the role of the Integrity Commission in the party, and in the roles of people who have been fingered by the commission for bringing the party into disrepute. And then there are also issues that pertain to the conduct of individuals of the party, speaking out of tune in terms of what the key message of the party or the president has been. So one expects to see a sort of synthesis in terms of way forward for the party. And also, given the crisis that's taking place with state-owned enterprises, one does expect that there may be some direction. But I think the party is going to be careful not to want to draw too much attention on the political issues. It may want to actually frame its programs. Having won an election, it's going to want to lift some things from its manifesto, which will form part of the mundane in terms of the general gist of its content. Will most likely be the mundane in terms of how the manifesto is going to be interpreted and the priority focus areas that the ANC government is going to be focusing on, more than it's going to want to actually speak to the political issues that have drawn much of the attention of the public.
Well, I should imagine, though, many of the ENCA journalists who will be covering the outcomes of the Lekgotla are going to ask those very important, perhaps very difficult political questions. Ongama, you mentioned a moment ago perhaps the Lekgotla having to deal with some of the ANC members who were stepping out of tune, singing their own song. Give me an example, give me a name that stands out for you that you think would probably be brought up in this Lekgotla as someone who perhaps wasn't on the same train of thought as the ANC leadership. Who was that?
So more recently, I think this weekend was Zandile Gumede, who criticized the president over his appointment of Pravin Gordhan at a time when he's facing an adverse finding by the public protector. And I think that debate actually may take up a lot of the time of the meeting as they discuss principal issues around how the Integrity Commission of the party should be treated vis-a-vis Chapter 9 institutions or some institutions which are understood to be competent, which may pronounce which may have pronounced on some of the names. And in fact, what we may find is that people may want to use that, the fact that the Minister Gordhan was appointed, notwithstanding the finding by Chapter 9 institution, to say theirs has only set before the Integrity Commission of the party, and no institution deemed to be competent on matters of law and investigation has dealt with their issues, so why it should be treated differently. I think in the ANC, what you do tend to find is that principles, processes, and emerging thinking usually gets used pursuant to whatever pressing political agenda of the time. So, for example, one of the headlines that came out was Ace Magashule speaking a message around why we need why the ANC needs to respect the office of the public protector, and that is not devoid of the current politics of names that have been fingered by an integrity commission versus a name appearing in a report of the public protector but appointed as a part of the cabinet. Obviously, Ace is one of those people who have spoken out of tune throughout the campaign, and we heard that he was read the Riot Act in the meeting in terms of unofficial reports that came out.
Ongama, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed. It does seem right towards the end of our conversation we're starting to lose you on Skype as it begins to freeze. We'll leave it there this evening.